Doggy's here. All right, compiler. We're trying to do some inlining today. Inlining across module boundaries is the goal. Problem is, I thought it was working mere moments ago. It is not. So let's just it should be one of those things that just kind of like works. So I'm going to run it here. What's up, brother? How we doing today? It's cold, man. I'm freezing. Got the slippies on. Kind of feeling like booting up some Minecraft in a bit, building some pirate ships. Who's to say? Oh, the throw blanket goes crazy. I've got a at my last job, we had these like company points or whatever to spend, similar to the current job. And I was trying to burn points before I left, and they had something called the Big Blanket, and it's like a 10-foot by 10-foot blanket, and it's sitting behind me. It's so insanely large. Like I've never. It's like the most impractical blanket of all time. However, it does go hard. It's so heavy. Like picking it up is difficult. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's heavy like by virtue of like the weighted blanket. It's heavy because it's 10 foot by 10 foot. Like there's just so much crap. So much fabric. The weighted blankets are crazy. I love them. Okay, we have some Amber Heard blanket. I'm not online enough to get that joke. You said there's so much crap. I'm not online enough to get the joke. I'm not online enough. Okay. I'm trying to do some inlining across module boundaries, and it's not working. Which is very sad for me. And I'm just not 100% sure why. Oh, actually, I do know why. I don't know why, actually. Let's try. Let's try some varying things. I am definitely going to play Minecraft later, though. If you want to play, just say the word. Say the word. My buddy from home wants to build some pirate ships, and we were pretty close to finishing our first pirate ship. Now you can imagine multiple pirate ships. That could go crazy. I recently... Oh, that's devastating. Well, at any point this week, let me know. Oh, that's today. Damn, rainy day. Rainy day. That's tough. Ah. Okay, well, at least you're still doing it. That's good. Yeah, you should just... I mean, it's rainy, but it's not like downpouring. It's just kind of like raining. a little bit here and there. My Costco trip was a freaking nightmare. Waited for like a half an hour just to check out. And then they rung me up wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And then they were like, we have to void this whole thing. Had to get the supervisor, undo everything, do it all again. Nightmare, man. But this is something I've been meaning to do for a while. But the theme's got to change. The theme has to change. The theme has to change. It cannot be this one. Beans? I don't love that. Jelly beans? Earl Grey? I mean, that's nice. Earl Grey is nice. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is that if we do something like this, modules we don't get inlining across modules, which in general I think is fine. In a non-JIT world, it doesn't really matter. But in a JIT world, if I can get inlining across modules, it is really important. So what happens here is like if we have this, like we have foo, which does some stuff, it just like requires test. So we provide a function, and like that is just like, it's just list, right? It just says like list XYZ. And then on this side, we have test func, which is this from here. And like we can ignore that. That doesn't matter. But so if we run this, in theory, we should see like in a perfect world, this is just list. Like this gets replaced with list if everything is working correct. Now with it not enabled, we see that like we create this module, which then does some stuff, obviously. Is this the JIT compiler? No, but the JIT compiler is working. But I need, so this transformation is happening. Well, I guess it's all the compiler. There's a JIT in here. Okay, there's a JIT. So the part I'm not working explicitly on the JIT at this very moment. I'm trying to make the generated code more JIT friendly. So this is happening before the JIT. The JIT works on the bytecode, and we are currently still in the AST land. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do inlining on the AST across module boundaries. So you have these two files, you have test and you have foo. We require test, it provides this function. This creates like, here's a module. We define this module. And like the module is just a hash map. Like there's nothing actually that sophisticated about the modules. Because everything gets lifted to the global scope, but it's inaccessible. Like these are unwritable symbols. So you can't just like type this in and like access it. Or unreadable symbols, whatever, you know what I'm saying. And then point is we then grab that from the module and then we call it. So there's kind of like some indirection that happens. Just when setting up the reference, like at runtime, it's directly like this function pointer is exactly the same as this one. They're exactly the same. However, what I'm trying to do is like, okay, so there's a couple things I could do. Is I could implement inlining like at the bytecode level, where I just like dynamically inline, but I'm trying to do it at the the AST level right now, because I do inlining. Like there is inlining, so we can test that. So like if I have this test func, let's say if I look at a defined foo x, you know, plus x1 or plus xx or something like that, and then I call it down here. And if we look at the generated code, it actually is literally just 20. It does inlining and constant propagation and constant evaluation, so it's done. So my goal though is I want this across module boundaries. Why do I want it across module boundaries? Well, there are certain things that I can't do in like user land, or that there are certain things that like are implemented as built-ins, and built-ins are going to get JIT compiled much more efficiently than basically it's a method JIT, so it looks at one method at a time, and I want to inline as much as possible where relevant with small, like if I wrap a primitive, I want that to be in, like, for example, like port functions. Like this is the biggest reason, is like ports. It's like all of these port functions, like they don't do much. They just do some stuff. And if you call this, I want this to get inlined, is all. I want it to get inlined because then we can start doing some fun with the JIT. And things will be much faster. Like I want to be able to implement custom ports, which means that I need a library on the Steel side that like wraps the primitive port library, similar to like wrapping the tree sitter the built-in tree sitter with like user space stuff. And I don't want there to be like a huge penalty for that. I want it to be as if you're calling the primitive, and if you are just calling directly into the primitive, once it's inlined, that check can get propagated. That is like, oh, this is actually just a primitive. So then all that shit gets eliminated, so et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're trying to do that. So what I did this morning was I'm implementing like a compiler pass that basically looks over all this crap. And it says, all right, find the stuff. Find where we are. And then go ahead and first just find where we are. And then find all of the module definitions. And then create like a mapping of, like this does, it does hash quote test func to this symbol. Okay. Well, then also when you set up this symbol, so it's like this symbol maps to a proto hash get of this thing plus this. And so just like skip that. So just map this symbol directly to this symbol. So then I create that mapping. And then I naively kind of just go through and say replace them. And that didn't work. And I think I know why. So I'm going to try a slightly different approach to it. So like if I run this now, if I do this down here, so it's like I'm inlining idents across module boundaries, and I just run, it's just going to crash. What's good is it's doing the right thing, right? Like, this is correct. Now the question is why am I getting these twice? Like why am I getting this so much? But it's okay. Like function application. So then I think the reason is I'm not handling contract out correctly. And that's because some of the way I bind contracts to modules happens at the boundaries. So if we go check out like what result is here, we are binding some stuff here. So there's like it does some additional checks. So for the sake of argument, let's just eliminate this. Let's just eliminate it and see if that gets us through. It does. Okay. So something is wrong there. Just have to figure that out. But this seems to work. So I don't want to... I'll come back to that. But so now this is I'm inlining the identifiers before I actually do inlining. So of actual function calls. So I want to do that here. So let's try that. Okay, so that worked. Okay, so that seemed to work. So now let's actually investigate if it's working. We have to kind of start at the beginning. Okay, there's a subcommand AST emit fully expanded. This emit expanded AST lower expressions input. Okay, cool. So if I run this, okay, it is working. So what I mentioned before, right, is we should just see like list 10, 20, 30. So that's good. It's working. So now I have to figure out why it's not working with that thing we saw earlier with the contract outs. I have a theory, but we'll do some investigating. But this is really good. So I have what's awesome here is I have staged up an insane amount of optimizations that I haven't deployed yet to Steel. Because I need more testing framework. Like I need more tests. And I've been working on like a test harness, if you will. So I just need more tests. I need more Steel code written, etc., etc. But this is all good stuff, all progress. Okay, so let me just confirm that is in fact doing what we want. Yeah, so test func is now crossing our boundary. Which is great. Yeah, test func disappeared. It's just 10, 20, 30. That's great news. Okay, so now let's go back. I'm just gonna I'm gonna remove this call. We'll just do like if standard and var Steel module inline. Okay, so now if I do this, it should be back to the previous behavior. Which it is. We call test func. Okay, cool. My end goal with this is I'm trying to make contracts be like as zero. Like there's a lot of end goals. But I was working on contracts last stream or 2 streams ago. And like I haven't really looked at them in a long time. And the naive like runtime behavior of them is that they end up turning into like, you know, if you've ever used like decorators or anything in Python, that's kind of like the behavior. You're wrapping stuff with lambdas. But if I have aggressive inlining that actually does work across module boundaries, I should be able to, in theory, I should be able to eliminate a lot of the runtime cost of contracts, because if you're doing just naive type checks at the start of your functions, those will get propagated. Because the JIT has a type here. If we go to the JIT for the purposes of, this is some of the most ugly code I've ever written, and it's only gotten better over the time. But the JIT has a whole pass that keeps track of the inferred types for everything. It is possible to do dependent typing with contracts. Well, dependent typing, you can do dependent contracts. Okay. But yes, you can do dependent typing as well, in theory. They're very much the same. They're very similar. I don't know if I had that at one point. Arrow I. That's a thing. I implemented that at some point. I don't know if it's lost to time. But yes, you can make your resulting contract for the result dependent on what came in, which is really nice. Okay, so let's just try to understand why this isn't working in the first place. So if we do some analysis. Okay, so this is what I want. I want to check out this thing. I think, are the let chains, when did let chains get stabilized? Do we know? $2024? Yeah, like this thing. When you can do like if let and let thing. Because right now we just indent. We just keep indenting till the cows come home. And I guess the 2024 edition. When was the 2024 edition? $8.5. Okay, I should start converting those because they're way nicer to read. Because this could all be like one depth of a bunch of conditions. Well, Helix just bumped to 185, I think, or 187. 187. So now I'm cool to do that because they were putting off the 2024 for a long time, but they finally did it. So now I can do it. Okay, so let's just see why this isn't working. My guess it has to do with the contract out business. So let's do a contract out. Okay, so now if I run that, it's cool with it. And if I look at this, okay, so I see. So it's taking, right. Okay. So let me just... I don't know about this theme. Let's mix it up. Is it bad? I like hate every theme. This one's not bad. I'm very fickle. Okay, so because of the contract out, let's just see what it's able to produce. Carbon Fox. I say less. That's what we're on now. And then I'm going to skip this. And let's do... okay. Okay, so what was it able to figure out? This is the part I don't quite... It gets a little mind-bendy. Okay, so it wasn't able to figure this out because it's behind a bind C. I guess in principle, I should just... No, that's... it's tricky. Because I don't want to recreate the contract at every call site. Where's the actual function? Proto hash bind C. One. Here, test func. So it's not able to create a mapping because it's not a naive mapping, which is fine. And that's the behavior I want, is that I want the contract to sit on the boundary. I don't want to like reuse it, or I don't want to recreate this contract at every call site. I mean, I guess what I really want to do is I want to inline these. There's a lot of inlining that needs to happen. But let's not worry too much about it. Okay, so if I go back to result, I do want these here. And if I do this, am I missing something? Okay. So why does this fail? Oh, it doesn't fail? Oh. It doesn't fail anymore? That's confusing. Oh, it just works? Oh, no. Okay, it fails. Okay. So why? Span is empty. dump. All right. Okay, so where is it happening? Something's going wrong. Okay. But why? Contract out. Okay, we'll go back to using this. And then I do this. Okay, arrow C. Okay. I think I know what it is. Let's do. There's like a something order of operations here. I basically only want to inline functions that have already been defined. And there's a way I do that, but I don't remember how. And I think I'm like replacing it with something that doesn't exist yet. Let's look at it this way. I think this should always be like strictly larger. Why is it? I mean, it is. Oh, maybe not. No, this is always less than. Okay. Hmm. Okay. We'll do. It's a proto hash expression. we're not going to look at it. Let's try that. I don't know if that's going to work. At this point, my debugging capabilities are not amazing. All right, this is working, maybe. Okay, that seemed to work. Awesome. Because now this all ties together. So I have an async, I have the start of an async runtime for Steel, and it requires me wrapping all of the port operations. And I only wanted to do that if I could start yielding inlined, because that way I didn't want to like penalize everything. Okay, so now AST, let's see what happens. Okay, so yeah, it's not inlining. It's not inlining this, which is good. Now, what's a bummer is why... No, I am getting bind C from here. But we're not seeing this. Okay, that's another problem for another day. I think I need to do... Okay, yeah. That's another problem. I could start it now. I could not. I'm on the fence, quite frankly. So there's two components to this. The first is... This is what's tricky. So Steel is like pretty much... is predominantly defined and like is both an embedded language, but is also like a standalone run it, just run it, right? Like run like a entry point. And because of that, inside you there are two wolves kind of thing. One side is like make everything as dynamic as possible, and the other side is make everything as static as possible. I fall onto the make everything as static as possible because that makes everything else that you want to do way easier. And I think this is like a similar thing like in the JavaScript world, like eval and things like that, they really screw up your ability to optimize, and you hit cases where you're just like, okay, I'm SOL. So this is a similar problem, is that like because this can be like executed at the REPL, you can reference modules that have already been loaded like one time. But as a result, like the way I'm writing this now, inlining will not happen if that module has already been loaded. If that module has been like evaluated and loaded in one go, we won't see it. It won't be in our code here. Or like it's here. The runtime evaluated it. But like the expression that I ran, like it's kind of like already happened. It's like happened like a stage earlier. Already got loaded into the runtime. So I can't like inline those. I can let me try something. Yeah. So I know that might be a little confusing. What I'm trying to get at is it's like, okay, here, let's put it, let's do it this way. I'll just go into the REPL. If I do it at the REPL, it will make more sense. Okay. So this module, it's like, this is a built-in module. It like kind of gets instantiated at boot up. Every module gets like their own independent view of this thing. But at the top level, it's like you can shadow things from it, whatever. It's implicitly brought in. But let's go to like test. Okay, so I'm doing some stuff here. Let's say like, well, you know what? One more thing. Let's try this. Private seal contract. Let's see what happens if I do that. Well, I know I'm not going to inline across here because I got rid of that. But it's like make function C is like, this is from a macro. It's very confusing. There's a lot of very confusing things happening here. It's because of macros. Okay, everything is the macros are the evil. All right, so first, we'll ignore this for a second. We'll go in here. We'll say, okay, so if we're at the REPL, oh, the dog wants to come in. Okay, good boy. Okay, so if we're at the REPL, and I require a test, I required it once, and it's been loaded. Like the runtime is like it exists. It's been done. If I require it again, nothing will happen because it hasn't changed. So that's how you get the behavior of like a module's only going to get required like instantiated one time, but if I go fuss with it, we've reloaded because it's changed. The old module is like still there though in the runtime, and eventually it will disappear, assuming there is nothing referencing it at some point. So what is happening though is there is like during the boot up of the engine, contracts are getting loaded in, and so then we're implicitly referencing them. So there is we're implicitly referencing them. We just don't see it directly. So the inlining with the contracts is going to need some more work. What I'm going to need to do is reach into the module's code and find this. Like, the other way to see this is if we do like steal debug AST, and I run this. And we put it back to here. Oh shoot, I need to do okay. And I look at dump and I reload. What did we see? We saw this like, so like bind C. It's like this. What we're looking for is like that. There we go. This like this exists already. It's just like it's just in the runtime space. And then we reference it. So this gets loaded up real early. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to find a way to reference that, so that we can inline the contract generation across boundaries. Because like all of this shit could get inlined. all of this could get inlined. Which would be horrendous, by the way. I probably don't want it to do this way, but if as I rewrite things, I want it to, like, as I rewrite things, I want it to be inlineable. Because, like, yeah. So anyway, this is already good progress, though. So let me just... This is already good progress. There's more work to do. More work to do. So what is it? Steel module. Is it steel module inline? Okay, if I take that out and I do cargo test all, let's see if anything breaks. But inlining across module boundaries would be sweet. And then I have varying levels of like compiler transformations that are opt-in right now, which includes the JIT. But assuming this works, I was going to pull up the JIT and work on that for a little bit. Because where I left off on the JIT was something kind of nasty. But I made some progress last night. So I'm anxious to give it a shot again. This is going to fry my computer. Okay, so I'm at a dilemma because I think people have been moving to Codeberg. I don't like want to like upend Steel on GitHub because it's like it's good advertising for it, and that's kind of like how I roll right now. Is I'm just like people find it and I like that, but I don't really want to use GitHub anymore. What is the experience like with Codeberg? I could do a mirror. Do mirrors like allow me to still like open issues and stuff? Like if people open issues there, would that work? It's tough because it's like the network effects of GitHub for people. Not that I really care if people use it. But like, you know what I'm saying? The network effects of GitHub are very strong. But me personally, I don't really want to use it anymore. And also, I want to like self-host my runners. Oh my god, this is like frying my computer. Okay, we're chilling. We're chilling. All the tests pass. Huge. Amazing. Yeah, I want to self-host runners. Okay, this is great news, by the way. Hey, what are you barking at, Sherm? Hey. Okay, sorry about the barking. Hold on. Good? You good, Sherm? There was a truck outside. Yeah, I want to self-host my runners because I literally tried to release the binaries and it took forever to build. What's up, Sir Elfman? Sir Elfman? Sir Elfman. Sir Elfman. I mean, like in an amazing, beautiful world, I implement my own CI system with Steel and Firecracker, and that's really cool. Am I going to get to that point? Probably not. Firecracker and Docker, and I set up I got a big old machine in the closet. Self-hosted runners on GitHub is so easy. Literally a single... Okay, I'll check out the Codeberg stuff. I mean, well, right, that's my other question. Does it cost money? I know they put out an announcement that they're like, it's going to cost money. And I don't understand because I use like an absurd number of CI minutes every month and I've never paid anything. I don't know why. I think I'm like grandfathered in to I think I was on like GitHub Pro or something. Is it always free or is there a limit? It's always free. Okay, then never mind then. So if I just wire up a self-hosted runner, I should just be chilling, right? For now, until they inevitably charge me money for it and then I turn it off. Okay, cool. Oh, it'll be free for public repo still? Oh, well then I should do that. Because I literally spent like... Oh, hold on, this dog. Okay, yeah. I got like a slick little VM setup here. Yeah. I got a server closet with a bunch of machines in it. And I'm like, I could just go provision one. Stream tenders, man. Isn't it your turn to figure out the ClickHouse tables? I don't want to do it. Yeah, pull request will run on it. Is there any way I can disable that and make it always permissioned? Like I have to click OK on everything, or no? That's another thing. Really? Okay, then I'm not doing it. Just yeah. Well, so that's why I was like, I could go throw it in a VM in the closet, with no access to the network, the local network, and just call it a day. But I also am considering limiting pull requests on Steel to just people I approve, which is like not great. But I've been getting a lot of AI PRs. And to be quite frankly, the AI PRs are the at first I couldn't tell because they were like really small, and like they were so small that it didn't even like matter. Like, as in, there was no discernible signal that I could have gleaned from like a 10-line PR that it was like, this is AI versus not, because the changes were tiny, right? Like there's not enough signal. And then like there was one PR that came in and I had a problem with it, and I left a comment, and then the reply was just verbatim copy pasted from the LLM, and I was like, I can't be doing this, man. I get enough of that shit at work. All right, let me get a... Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, let me just switch to the, long day of forklift. Let me get on Forklift Simulator vibes. Although I did see years ago there was a dude playing like the truck driver simulator, except every time he crashed, which he would do intentionally, he like put his whole body into mimicking the physical response he would have received as the driver, and would like knock over his whole computer. And I thought that was pure comedy. And I thought that would, but if I, yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with that shit. I'm like, this is my project. I don't need to read comments. Like a few years ago, I think this was like, a few years ago, there were a bunch of like discussions opened against Steel, and I was like engaged. This was kind of like before people like picked up on it, on all the AI stuff. So it was kind of early. This was like maybe 2020, early 2023, perhaps. Like people were using it, but it wasn't like nearly as widespread as it is today. And I was like, this is a bot. Like I'm just talking to a bot, because none of the responses made any sense. All right. So now we got inlining across module boundaries. That is awesome. That's something I've been putting off for a long time. Now, it doesn't really do anything for performance, quite frankly, like as of now. Like it does a little bit. Not a huge amount. Look at that. Look at that nesting. That's beautiful. How many levels is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. It's gorgeous. It's not. You are you a Rust writer? It's not. It's because, well, okay, I'll explain the reason before you come for my ass. First, number one, I was keeping the minimum supported Rust version as 1.84 for a long time. That was before they released the 2024 edition. The 2024 edition included let else. So like I can go change it. I can go change it. But where was that? Yeah, that was only recently stabilized. That's all I'm saying. And so I my brain is locked in. Yeah, recently You've been using it forever? Well, wait, are you saying if let some or let some? Without the if. Let some has also been stabilized. I'm talking about chaining them. I'm talking about the chains. The if let chains have only recently been stabilized. Also, I quite like the code. I think it looks great. I love seeing these. That's just me personally. I also don't respect Clippy. Feel free to close the tab if you respect Clippy. Or if you're like me and don't respect Clippy, lock in. Yeah, but I don't want to type else return everywhere. So what I want to do is this. I can rewrite this. I think I can rewrite this now. Is the let chains were, so if I drop one of these. Hold on, I goofed that up. Right? Did you see that? It was like let chains don't exist. Early return is king, sure, but also I'm the one typing on the keyboard right now. Yeah, okay. So the reason is my addition. I like let chains. You're knighted? Are you British? Do they knight non-British people? How does that work? How much do I have to donate to the crown to get knighted? It's because of this. Basically, my yeah, most visits exactly. See now, if I change this to the 2024 edition, which I was not doing for a long time, because Helix didn't support the 2024 edition. Then I was going to replace this with let else chains. I could do or is it just that? How do I do that? I could do that. But I think I'll just adjust this. I think I'll just do this instead. Did they? I thought I saw a thing that defer was a thing. Like recently. It's in now? I've been thinking about messing around and just write and see. I literally started looking into writing C, like embedding, getting a proper C ABI, a proper C API for Steel, so that I could go write some C code and shove Steel in there, because I think it'd be fun. Humbling is perhaps how I would describe it. All right, that's a little better, huh? That's a little better. That's a little better. Yeah, I just wanted it to be a if let chain, so I could just go and all the way down. Let's make sure it actually still works, though. Okay, let's go to test. Get rid of the contract. Get rid of the contract. Yeah, it's still working. Okay, cool. So now I'll just delete all that business. Sweet. What's up? Rest in peace, Grift. You'll be missed. Okay. Grift is dead. I guess I should also check if it actually worked. Call. Oh, I guess it's not in? What is this? It's not in. Someone give me the scoop. Dang. All of that work still doesn't apply to the built-in modules, so I need to actually implement that. That's devastating. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. How do I inline across the prim? Okay. You know what? I'm going to do it now. I wasn't going to. Yeah, I did read about that when they did that. Whatever. There was like a blog about it a long time ago. When they did it. It's pretty cool though. Okay. This is really annoying because I did not want to have to do this. Inline. I was kind of hoping that this wouldn't happen. Okay. Okay. We have to do some investigating. We have to do some investigating. Self-hosted steel when? Many people are asking. All right. We have to do a little bit of testing. To inline with built-in modules. Okay. Oh, this sucks, dude. I don't know if this is going to work. I might need to fuss with the module system like a lot. I thought this would implicitly work, but I guess these modules are already loaded up. Okay, so if I go like private steel port, yeah. Okay, so this AST that we have here is not the one that I want to look at. I need to look at the one that's already been mangled. So I'll need to save that. Yeah, because inlining it's not available yet. Oh, that's sad. All right, well let's see what we can do. So I go here. Basically, it's like when I put it to a top level, I'm losing it. Yeah, this is what I want. This is the worst code ever. I hate this code. It's awful. Is a name mangler on the thing? No, it's not. Globals. Cloning the AST here is not preferred. Okay, so how am I going to do this? This is tough. I don't even get here? Huh. Let me drop that. Why is it not? Where is it getting printed? Maybe it's two top. Maybe it's here. Okay, it's happening here. Oh, Oh, this is so bad. Don't look. Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. Six stream streak. 6 stream. Wow. That's huge for me. Yeah, the import, it's like the hardest thing in Steel. Okay. So that is the correct way to do it. Yeah, I thought you didn't watch the other day. Interesting. Some days it doesn't actually care about the streams. It seems like it cares more, or it lets you catch up. It lets you catch up or something. Fake streak. Time zones, perhaps? I mean, we're both in Pacific time, probably. Maybe. Okay, so now I don't really know what to do because... Yeah, freebie save. That's probably what's happening. Okay. I don't really know what to do here. Server time zone, maybe. Because so every module gets its own, like, view of the world. Which means that, like, there's a lot of code gets generated that it doesn't need, and then it gets rid of it. So then if I, like, blindly just take these modules, they're, like, really big. I mean, really big is a strong word. They're large. They're larger than I'd like. So I don't want to just, like, clone them and yoink them. What I want to do is I want to, like... Actually, this... Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe this is fine. Maybe this is fine. Yeah, this looks okay. Because, like, that could get inlined, right? I mean, that's pretty big. But if you really wanted to, you could inline it. Here, let me just take a look. Let me dump this. Private Steel port. Okay. Yeah, no. This is working. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Is I'm going to have to stash the top level module in its own spot so that I can get the primitives. Primitives get inline too, which is kind of nasty. But, and I'm worried about startup time performance. Um, yeah. I am worried about startup time performance. I am worried about it. I just spent a lot of time making it faster. I mean, inlining is going to hurt. Maybe I just configure it, right? If you want to pay for the boot up time, you pay for the boot up time. Okay, let's try it, and I'll make it configurable. Um, um, okay. We'll try that. Okay. How much worse does this make startup time? I'm very mindful of startup time because every time I introduce a regression, like I'm not even joking. It's crazy. Somebody, they must have like cron jobs. Oh, actually they get emails probably. Is that I push, like I'll work at night on Steel. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm whipping something up cool. I add a new feature, whatever. I merge it. I pass all the tests, everything. It gets merged in. I'm like, cool. Let me go test it. Or usually I test it on Helix first, actually. So then I test it on Helix. Everything is working great. I'm like, awesome. I open up all my plugins. Everything is working great. I'm like, awesome. I click merge. I update Helix. Boom. I go to bed. I wake up to like 3 messages being like, startup time has regressed substantially. And then I like run it up again and it's like 10 milliseconds slower, which I understand my computer's fast because it's new. But I'm like, damn, you're like in tune with your computer if you notice that it went from like 180 to 190 milliseconds or whatever. That's crazy. It's crazy work that they notice that. And I respect it. But they are quick onto the open issue or send me a message. They are quick. All right, let's try a release build. I'm also going to run to the bathroom real quick while that's going. And I'll actually hold on. Well, let's do hold on, I'll be back in just a second. Okay. How we doing? Where did you copy paste that from? Because you didn't write that out. But I was aware of that. I remember when that happened. But 500 milliseconds is a lot different than 10 milliseconds. 500 milliseconds is a lot different from 10 milliseconds. A lot different. Same energy though. I would agree. I think if I was that guy, I also would have noticed 500 milliseconds. I think I would have been like, that's weird. SSH is usually like, boom. Fast as hell. Okay, cool. I mean, that's pretty fast. I would say I'm not mad about that. I could do some profiling. Hold on. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, that startup time is like 70 milliseconds. That's not horrible. I should check on Helix before I merge this stuff. But I think this is important to do before I... Oh, that's funny. Okay. That's fine. 170 milliseconds. That's fine. Okay. All right. So now we should have the proper AST that was emitted. So I should be able to resolve all the modules and do the requisite inlining. This is really annoying. I didn't want to have to do this. But I don't know of a better way. I don't know of a better way. All right, let's just see if we can pull it off. Okay, so we have to go to modules, and then it's inline, or actually analysis, excuse me, inline function calls. Okay. So then inline forwards. All right, I think, this gets so much worse. Why is it not all visible? I guess it's fine. It's fine. Get rid of this. I gotta like focus up for a second. This is tricky. This is tricky stuff. All right, so what we're going to do is like what I was doing previously is I wasn't actually inlining. I was like resolving names across. So now I just need to include extra information. So I was like resolving names where it would say like, okay, we have a module. You reference the mod, like the module has a definition. It exposes a mapping that is like a module object. And then you are referencing that module object by getting a value out of the mod. Like within your namespace, you say fetch the value from this namespace, instantiate at the top level, like, and use that independently. So now I want to say, great, go get the value from the other side. Except that other side could be within, it could be within the external modules. So now I have to iterate over those two. So this says, so I'm saying for expression in expers iter. Now I need to say like for module. Yeah, I guess I have to do this. For, I'm sure this is going to break now. I need to pass the modules in. That's a bummer. Wouldn't it be awesome if the code, you could just like explain in English the code and then it could just do it? Every VC just sat up in their chair. They went, okay, so we're going to go through this and we're going to say, okay, this seems like it should work as begrudgingly. Okay. You think Chinese is the programming language of the future? I could buy that. I think Steel's the programming language of the future. I'm about to get a custom keyboard where every key is just a fancy Unicode character. That could be the move. Be a beautiful keyboard too. All right, new font time or new theme time. New theme time. Someone name a theme. I've been on Carbon Fox for like an hour now. Gotta mix it up. What about this bad boy? Eldritch. Eldritch Transparent, perhaps? Too bright. I do. Um, I forget what it is. There's a way to like just list all the themes. Too bright. What better way than just boom? That's too bright. Marionette, maybe a red theme, perhaps. Kind of like the red. Okay. So now I do this in the right spot here. So now I need to do this same shit, but for inline function calls. Okay. Let's just see if this is working though. Um, okay, yeah. There's our module. There's a mapping. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we built up a mapping here. Wow, I kind of like this red. This kind of goes hard. Okay, so we have our mapping. That's working. Okay. I just have to take this whole thing out. Any idea on how I would circumvent the traits for serializing, deserializing for steel valves? I'm having trouble getting the status line element to have an enum member with a steel valve for rendering with a boxed function. Having trouble getting the status line element to have an enum member with a steel valve for rendering with a box function, although maybe better to do events or something. Any idea on how I would circumvent the traits for serializing? Could you elaborate a little bit? When you say circumvent the traits for serializing, deserializing for steel valves, is that because the status line element like implements custom or something like that, or derives something like that? Is that the idea? Ah, literally Serde, serialize, deserialize. Right. Can you ignore that one? Is that something you can do? Like ignore that field? Like or put it in as a box or an option? Like Serde ignore or something like that? Serialize as none. There's like all those like options you can add on individual things. Okay, and now I'm just gonna do this shit again. Just gonna copy it, copy the code. Don't worry, I'm not actually gonna copy the code. Dude, my computer is like cooked right now. and then I just have to... I have to pass in module map again. That's sad. Honestly, I can't even tell if there's errors because that red is like impossible to read. Okay, that seemed to work. I'm calling call with port. Okay, that did rename correctly. That did rename correctly, but now we didn't actually inline. Okay. Okay, so it could be... Inline handle define. All right, let's try. We're close. Oh, it also implements copy. You might be hosed there. You can't implement copy on steel valves. You can implement clone, for sure. I would recommend... I don't know. I don't know what I recommend there. I have to think about that more. Okay, adding inline for this. That did work. Right? Call with port. Oh, maybe it didn't add inline. Call with port. It did do it. Let me just try this. And then like if I require... No, it's not inlining there. It could be... Could be this. So we don't have analysis for it yet. I'm guessing that's what it is. Let's just try. Okay, now there's here we'll change pass on a reference and change the signature. So overall, yeah, just just screw around, see how bad it is. I'd imagine it's not that bad. Okay, yeah, we don't have the analysis. Do I need the analysis? I could say like from module. Wait. That's only if it's returned. Maybe it's not in the estimator. Calculate function sizes. I see. Okay. Okay. So now I have to do... This is getting worse and worse. Getting worse and worse. Oh my god. I just want it to work. Okay. That may have worked. No. Call with port. It's still not doing it. Okay, we are adding the inline. All right, let's see. One more time. I gotta look at this one more time. All right. All right. Call with port, adding inline for it. We are, in fact, adding it. That's good news. I'm not using the analysis. Okay. So we add the inlines. Add the inlines. I am doing that. It's in the estimator. This is certainly going to make it slower to start up. I think I will add a flag for this kind of inlining. Okay, that works. Why does that not work, though? I'm adding MM15 call with port. It's right there. Call with port is right there. Why are you not inlining? Okay. We're not even in like invoking it. It must be somewhere else. I'm guessing it's here. Okay. Yeah, it's because it's not going to inline it because it doesn't know about it because it's from an external thing. This is no good, but we're gonna try it anyway. I'll clean this code up later. Still not doing it. Why is that there? Like, come on, what are we doing here? Visit list. If boom boom. I'm visiting. It's not even doing anything. What the heck? Oh, I think I understand. I think I gotta do it down here. Because the call site has it. But these could be like unresolved because they're just globals that aren't within the context of the analysis pass. There we go. We got it. We got there. Nice. We got cross module inlining with the primitives. Well, that was hard. That was kind of hard. Okay. Would people be interested in watching JIT development, or is it just too hard that it's not interesting? Or do you not care what I'm working on? That's the real question. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll make some like cool little widget on the screen for Helix, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll work on a game. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to work on the JIT. But the JIT I find is just like too hard to work on stream. Just want programming ASMR. Okay, that's fair. Okay, if I run all the tests, I'm willing to bet something dramatically bad happens. But that's just a feeling I have. This is going to kill my computer. Is it still raining? Light rain expected to stop in 49 minutes. That's huge. Oh, yeah. We got a lot of failures. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, what I did isn't going to work. Okay, well, I can't. Unfortunately, it may work for one thing, but it certainly doesn't work for like everything else. Like, what is this? Pascal's? Pascal's triangle? Like, what happens if I run this? I see. Okay, I see what the problem is. Is that like standard library stuff is getting inlined too, which is, I suppose, in theory, fine. But it's causing problems, I think, because it's referencing something that, like, what would be producing pair? That should be built in. It is built in. That should be getting rewritten to be a built in. Let me see. I think I know the problem is that my whole approach is low key flawed. Yeah, I think it's a little flawed. You know what? That's okay. That might be it for today. That was like a solid 2 hours. I think I know the problem though. I'll just need to let that one simmer in the old mind palace for an evening. But that was good. Productive. Cross module inlining is very important. So it looks like I can get cross module inlining in user space, no problem. It's just that the built-in ones require some extra love to make sure that they work correctly. And that's what I'm encountering here. And I think it's because the mangled AST that I'm referencing does not have built-in primitives lifted or like rewritten yet. So things just are getting all out of sorts. So I will come back to that at some point. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate it. I'm going to take the dog for a walk in a bit when the rain stops. Catch y'all later.